above. This is Ibarra, Project 1C. My project is Advanced Health Informatics, and the code we developed pulls data from the CDC's National Health Community Survey. Starting off, of course, we load in our data, and lines 16 to 21 are just assigning values to variables that we will be using later on in loops. Okay, so option right here is new appointment or read database. If it's a new appointment, it asks if it's a new patient or a returning one. If it's a new patient, you assign them a patient number, or the user does, the doctor, and the goal for this program. Since we have 500 patients, if they enter a number smaller than 499, the program issues a warning and asks them again. If they select the same number again, it continues on. So the user would then enter in basic information about the patient: sex, weight, height, race, marital status, etc. And this goes on entering in new information for the patient all the way to line 231. So you can see past procedures, shots, all the different types of vaccinations, hepatitis, shingles. So after the user enters in all of the information, general information for the patient, they will select if it's a general appointment, sickness, prescription refill / update. If it's a general appointment, so right here we have notes. The doctor would take notes on the patient whenever he wants to input for that section. We can access it later for the patient. This is right here is actually a counter that while the appointment is in progress, the doctor leaves it alone, does the appointment, and then clicks stop. The program would then display how long the appointment lasted. Then the doctor continues just to input all of the information for the patient. So then all of these loops right here and these if statements will all end after the doctor has inputted everything. It will display the correct information available. Starting at line 232, if the user selected if it's a returning patient or if the user just wants to read off the database that's already available, that's what this if block is for. These are the variables that we already predetermined. This right here is a for loop that 1 to 273 is the number of columns in the data file. And what this is doing is it's creating a new variable called apply, and it's filling in each column number with the specific row that the user selected, which is actually the patient number. And it's creating a new matrix, or actually vector, called apply that has certain values corresponding to each 273 columns. And you'll see apply throughout the rest of this code simply being used, that each different column represents a different piece of information that we might want for the patient. Now in line 252, we start with saying if the user selected that they wanted basic information, all of the information, or a returning patient, this goes through and goes to apply the matrix that we determined from the data set. And if any of these equals, here it's 1 for sex, but then later on height and weight, of course, family status. whatever it equals, that's what will be fprintf onto the command window. So if it's 1, that means it's true. So 103 is the column number for blindness, for example. So if apply 103 is 1, it'll fprintf blindness. Continuing with the basic information, this whole if block, starting at line 360 all the way to line 383, is just for smoking. All these different information for smoking. Smokes infrequently, smoked in the last certain number of days, weeks, months, years. Drinking, same exact thing. And starting here at line 401, if the user selected that they want only to see the diagnosis, they want to see all the information, or simply if it's just a returning patient, it'll display the diagnosis information, so it'll go through things like hypertension, and all the medication for it as well, so medication for high blood pressure, cholesterol, if they take any. This is all still on the apply vector, that if apply of this column is equal to the specific number that correlates with, apply 203, or 223 equals 2, and that means that they stop taking medication. If apply is 1, then that means that they are on medication, etc. So this just goes through every single possible diagnosis that the patient could have, and if any of these are true in the apply vector, it'll display the information in that printf statement. Cancers is another huge chunk of it. If they have cancer at all, that's what apply 42 is. And then that's what starts this other if block, going more specific, 42, 44, etc., to the specific type of cancer that they might have. Diabetes, liver conditions, etc. Line 656 is patient has already stopped taking medication, for example, hypertension. So this lifestyle change, what this means is that the patient has stopped taking medication and all they had to do was make a lifestyle change as determined by the doctor. That's just part of the patient history. High cholesterol, etc. So, coronary heart disease. This is another general appointment notes, same exact thing as before. It's a counter for the patients for their appointment for the doctor to use. The doctor will press stop. It'll be in a menu, and once the doctor presses stop, it'll count how long in minutes the appointment took. And this whole block is if they want to update information on a certain patient. That'll be in the menu as well. If they click yes, it'll go through all of this, and they'll update their race, height, weight, children, marital status, whatever could be important to them that they feel like they need to be updated. This is all for medication. How effective is the medication they're taking on a scale of 1 to 10, and then based on that, if the code could be applied in further use to make suggestions to the doctor that if the patient doesn't like the medication or it's not effective for them, it could apply, or it could recommend different medication for their certain age, race, height, weight, etc. That is where this program falls short. It does not meet that goal of suggesting different medications or treatments to the doctors. That's where we would like to see it be applied for future use of the Advanced Health Informatics Engineering Challenge. We believe this code or this idea could help both doctors and patients just at home that could go to this program or a program similar to this that could suggest different medications or treatments for their whatever they have going on. And This is just the restart. They can run the code again if they decided to. I'll run through a few test cases. So we'll run it, and we'll say read database. Input the patient number between 0 and 1 and 499. So, for example, we'll just say 198. And we can select which type of information we'd like to access for that certain patient. So basic, diagnosis, medications are all. I'm going to do all just to show the extent of the program. So here we can see all this information for this patient. Female, 40 years old, race, height, weight wasn't available. They decided not to give it to the survey. Past procedures and shots, mammogram in the past year, flu shot. They drink regularly. All this information is given for this patient. And then it pulled up a menu. Would you like to review another patient? Yes. So for example, we would do new appointments, and we could say this is a returning patient. So if we wanted to enter in patient number 123, the appointment would be for general appointments. Height, let's say 60 inches, weight 140. Notes, right here. Notes can be whatever the doctor wants to say. And this press stop when appointment is completed will pop up. Depending on how long the appointment takes, we'll click stop now. It'll say 0 minutes long. Would you like to change any information on the patient? If they click yes, they could change whatever they wanted to, height, weight, even race. We're going to say no, and the appointment